On all my videos, I give away an Amazon gift card. To find out how to win, please like, comment, and subscribe. And at the end of the video, I will tell how to win. After waiting for a long time, Luffy finally unleashed his new power, Gear 5, and defeated the mighty pirate Kaido. He saved the people of Wano, who had been living under a harsh rule for 20 years. But earlier, Kaido had defeated Luffy, causing him to fall into the sea. Meanwhile, Zoro and Sanji were in tough battles against King and Queen. Kid and Law had to confront Big Mom. Luckily, Law's group saved Luffy from drowning. At the same time, Momo, who had transformed into a huge pink dragon, helped bring Luffy back into the fight against Kaido. Yamato, on the other hand, was still struggling against Kaido. Kaido was angry with Yamato for idolizing someone else and not obeying him. It turned out that Yamato had always wanted to leave the island since childhood. Yamato activated a powerful ability called Conqueror's Haki, which stunned Kaido's soldiers. However, Kaido kept capturing Yamato because Yamato always identified as someone else. Kaido decided to imprison Yamato along with 3 samurai lords from Wano, starving them to break their will. Despite their dire situation, the samurai lords gave their food to Yamato, making Yamato very happy. Yamato showed them Odin's logbook, and they agreed to teach Yamato how to read it. Through the logbook, Yamato learned about Odin's journey and realized the importance of protecting Wano. The 3 samurai lords decided to sacrifice themselves and entrusted the future of Wano to Yamato. Determined to defeat Kaido and free Wano, Yamato and Kaido continued their intense battle. On Luffy's side, they managed to get Momo, who was in dragon form, to fly. Momo was scared, but they finally saw Kaido. Yamato and Luffy joined the fight, and they unleashed a powerful attack on Kaido, sending him crashing through several walls. Everyone was surprised to see Luffy's return, but they didn't know who the pink dragon was. Kaido quickly returned, and Luffy declared his determination to become the Pirate King. Momo revealed his identity and intention to become the ruler of Wano. On the other side, the battles continued between the Straw Hat crew and their opponents. The moon was covered by clouds, causing problems for Inuarashi and Nekomamushi, who lost their powerful Sulong forms. Kaido was about to unleash his fiery attack on Luffy and Momo, but Luffy advised Momo to fight back, which he did with determination. Luffy intervened, and together, they faced Kaido. The intensity of their battle shook Onigashima Island. Yamato noticed that the situation was similar to the legendary clash between Whitebeard and Roger. The moon reappeared, allowing Inuarashi and Nekomamushi to regain their Sulong forms and gain the upper hand in their battles. Meanwhile, Yamato rode on Momo's back to help stop Onigashima Island. It was a crucial moment in their battle against Kaido. Kaido suddenly attacked, but Yamato swiftly stepped in to restrain him. Luffy also rushed to capture Kaido as he was determined to fight him. While Yamato and Momo were falling, Yamato taught Momo how to create clouds. It turns out that dragons don't fly on their own, but rather use clouds to soar. Momo managed to fly using this method. Inuarashi and Nekomamushi regained their Sulong forms and decided to finish their foes, Jack and Perispero. Meanwhile, Momo learned to create clouds, making him very happy. Yamato noticed Kaido's strength had decreased as rocks fell. Luffy was still in combat with Kaido. Momo decided to use his head to push Onigashima away from the capital. Yamato advised Momo to create stronger flame clouds than Kaido's to prevent destruction. Yamato revealed that the castle had explosives, threatening the capital. Meanwhile, Zoro continued his fierce battle against King. Sanji faced Queen's continuous attacks, surprised by his resilience. On Sanji's side, he remained strangely unharmed. Zoro, using his 3-sword style, managed to cut off one of King's horns, and Raging King, who used his devil fruit powers to attack Zoro. Sanji was being attacked by Queen, who demanded the Germa superhero suit. Sanji's fiery kicks sent Queen flying. Queen remained unfazed and separated his head from his body, surprising everyone. He squeezed Sanji, intending to break his bones. Sanji was in pain, but refused to use Germa's power, injuring Queen. Chopper and the others were shocked to see that Sanji's body was unusual. Despite his broken bones, he could move and even adjust them. Sanji realized he had awakened his dormant genetic modification. Queen's sword broke when he attacked Sanji. It turned out that Sanji was considered a failed scientific experiment by his family because he couldn't awaken his genetic modification as a child. Killer was still battling Hawkins. Hawkins realized Killer had been forced to eat a faulty devil fruit by Orochi, and he laughed at Killer. Hawkins stood still, allowing Killer to attack, but Killer couldn't retaliate as it would harm Kid. Kid was injured, gathering metal to attack Big Mom, who retaliated with Prometheus. Kid and Law managed to stand up, but Kid was still experiencing headaches. Hawkins had been thrusting his head into a pillar, injuring Kid. Killer told Hawkins that Kid would never die and would become the Pirate King, enraging Hawkins. Killer understood Hawkins' secret and attacked him, cutting off one of his arms. This broke Hawkins' control over Kid. Hawkins transformed into a giant straw man but was easily defeated by Killer. Kid finally got to fight freely. Back on Sanji's side, he surprisingly broke Queen's sword without using Heki, revealing Germa's technology. Sanji feared turning into a cold-hearted person like his siblings. Queen continued to attack relentlessly, trying to force him to use Germa's superhero suit. The Otama group saw Kaiman's separated legs, a result of Law's previous actions. Kiku was in danger, so Kinemon asked them to go help her. Meanwhile, Robin and Brook were discovered by the CP0 agents. Kinemon was waiting for the others to arrive and assist, and they noticed that Kanjuro was still alive and talking to Orochi. Kanjuro used his last breath to create a monstrous fire creature that set Kaido's entire castle on fire. While Luffy was locked in a fierce battle with Kaido, Kid and Law were teaming up to defeat Big Mom. However, Big Mom had 3 powerful homies supporting her, which made it challenging for Kid and Law. They realized Law hadn't fully unleashed his devil fruit power. Both Kid and Law had awakened their devil fruits, but they saved it for critical moments. They combined their powers to unleash their ultimate moves. Kid transformed into a gigantic robot using his power to manipulate metal, but Big Mom countered with a powerful strike. Law, however, activated the awakened power of his devil fruit, using it to stab Big Mom and electrify her from the inside. Although it injured Big Mom, she remained unharmed. Kid activated his devil fruit power, turning Big Mom into a giant magnet, attracting metal debris towards her. With their combined powers, they unleashed an immensely powerful attack on Big Mom. Despite the overwhelming strength they displayed, Big Mom survived. She unleashed her devil fruit power, sucking the life force from Kaido's soldiers and summoning back her homies. She sacrificed 1 year of her lifespan to enhance her power and transformed into a giant. Big Mom challenged Kid and Law, daring them to take her position as a Yonko. Sanji continued to refuse to use the Germa suit, but a Geisha girl cried out for help when Sanji accidentally bumped into her. This made the girls cautious of him, leaving Sanji disappointed. When he stepped outside, Queen mocked him, trying to provoke him. Sanji was conflicted, trying to figure out what kind of person he needed to become to help Luffy become the Pirate King. Eventually, Sanji decided to unleash his full strength to defeat Queen. He vanished at incredible speed and delivered a powerful kick to Queen. Meanwhile, Kid and Law were under relentless attack from Big Mom. On another front, Robin was hunted down by CP0 agents. Kanjuro's fire monster fell down and swallowed the CP0 agents, revealing Orochi's plan to burn down the castle. Orochi heard the sound of Hiyori's instrument and believed his beloved was still alive. Momo continued to create flame clouds to hinder Onegashima's movements. Zoro was struggling due to hearing Hiyori's melody, which drained his haki. However, he eventually regained control of his sword, Enma. While Zoro faced King, he recalled the cursed Kitetsu sword he had obtained, which had a connection to Wano. King attacked Zoro relentlessly, and Zoro struggled to understand why King's body was so sturdy and what race he belonged to. Zoro tried to strike King with all his strength but couldn't harm him. Zoro remembered the Wado Ichimonji sword, which came from the East Blue, and its connection to Wano. King continued his assault, and Zoro managed to block his attack with Enma. He remembered an old fisherman from his childhood who gave him the sword and taught him many things about swords. Zoro recalled the teachings and realized that he could control Enma. Momo, on the other hand, realized he could control Kaido's clouds. He pulled them away, strengthening his control over Onigashima. Zoro had mastered his haki, and when a group of soldiers attacked him, he inadvertently unleashed his conqueror's haki, causing the soldiers to faint. King immediately inquired if Zoro aimed to become a king. In response, Zoro vividly recalled his commitment to Luffy to become the world's greatest swordsman. Meanwhile, Queen seethed with anger over the destruction of Germa technology caused by Sanji. He retaliated by firing a laser beam at Sanji, recognizing the technique's origin as a Chiji's. In the midst of the battle, Queen harnessed Niji's electrocution ability to shock Sanji. Yet, Sanji remained undeterred and swiftly closed the distance between himself and Queen. To Queen's dismay, he realized that Sanji was the one Germa member he hadn't studied thoroughly, frustrating him immensely. As Queen prepared to deliver a final blow to Sanji, the Straw Hat Cook fought back with a blazing kick, shattering Queen's arm. Annoyed by Queen's constant mention of his demon family, Sanji's anger flared, and he unleashed a devastating attack, sending Queen hurtling into the distance. During the battle's aftermath, Sanji noticed a geisha girl chasing a mouse. Remembering the incident where Queen had attacked her, Sanji came to her rescue. In this moment, he recognized his unchanging affinity for women and harnessed newfound determination as the Straw Hat Crew's cook. Fueled by this resolve, Sanji unleashed his full power, manifesting a blue flame, and delivered a powerful kick to Queen's face. He had reached a new level of speed and strength, impervious to Queen's provocations. Sanji charged at Queen with incredible speed, ending the battle by sending Queen flying off the island. The geisha girl, now unafraid and grateful to Sanji, watched as he emerged victorious from the confrontation. Meanwhile, Zoro, on his side, had mastered Enma's control and continued his relentless attacks on King. He realized that King's unique and durable body held a potential weakness. Zoro put all his strength into a powerful strike, cleaving King's mask in half, revealing the face beneath, and surprising those watching. As Zoro and King continued their intense battle, Zoro realized that the government had placed a substantial bounty on King's face, making it an especially sought-after target. However, to Zoro's surprise, King didn't hesitate to kill his own subordinates. This realization only fueled Zoro's determination. Zoro knew he couldn't prolong the fight any longer, so he decided to go all out against King. As they clashed, King boasted about Kaido's ambition to become the Pirate King. Zoro unleashed his full strength with the Demon Slash attack, moving with lightning speed. In response, King released his own power to counter Zoro's attack. Memories of Kaido saving him from a government experiment facility flooded King's thoughts. Kaido had recognized King's unique abilities as a member of the legendary Lunarian tribe, capable of producing fire. Kaido rescued him from the facility and nicknamed him King. King, determined to defeat Zoro, relentlessly attacked. Despite landing a powerful blow on King's body, Zoro was surprised when King showed no signs of pain. Their battle continued, with Zoro launching more attacks, but King remained undeterred. At one point, King decided to take flight and create a circle of fire, preparing for a decisive strike. However, Zoro countered by splitting the fire dragons with his own attack. Zoro realized that to become the world's greatest swordsman, he must be worthy of accompanying Luffy. This realization fueled his determination to become the king of swordsmen. Ultimately, Zoro emerged victorious from his battle with King, though he was left exhausted. As the CP0 watched in surprise, the Straw Hat Pirates had defeated all of Kaido's All-Stars, but their true challenge lay ahead in facing the Yonko. Meanwhile, Big Mom continued her dominance over Kid and Law in their battle. Luffy, fiercely battling Kaido, witnessed Yamato's hurried descent into the basement, where she aimed to stop the fire monster from reaching the explosives below. Usopp found Kinemon and assisted in reattaching his body parts. When he was about to help Kiku, they were surrounded by Kaido's troops. Fortunately, Aizo arrived just in time to help Usopp, holding back the soldiers while allowing Usopp to escort Kinemon and Kiku to safety. Elsewhere, Orochi, leisurely enjoying the music, deluded himself into thinking he would marry Hiyori. Apu, who had seen Drake being defeated by CP0, realized that staying in his current location would be fatal and quickly made his escape. Luffy, in the midst of his fierce battle against Kaido, continued to exchange powerful blows. At one point, Luffy activated Gear 3 and delivered a direct punch to Kaido's face. Both combatants were exhausted but exhilarated by the intensity of their fight. Meanwhile, as Momo struggled to pull the entire Onigashima Island, Kaido took out sake and drank it in front of Luffy, infuriating him. Kaido's mocking offer of a drink prompted Luffy to respond confidently, stating that after defeating Kaido, they would celebrate with a feast alongside everyone. However, this seemed to anger the inebriated Kaido, leading to an abrupt and powerful attack by Kaido called Sharon Hake, which struck Luffy with a club, knocking him unconscious. As the battle between Luffy and Kaido continued, Luffy regained consciousness after being struck by Kaido's Sharon Hake. Unfazed, Luffy continued to attack Kaido, who was still inebriated. Kaido used his demolishing wind to block Luffy's assaults, but the Straw Hat Captain realized the weakness in Kaido's state and managed to deliver a significant blow that sobered Kaido up. However, Kaido, despite being angered and drunk, continued to fight fiercely. Luffy's persistence in the battle allowed him to land a kick that made Kaido take him seriously. Kaido retaliated by unleashing a fiery breath attack, but Luffy managed to dodge and engage Kaido in an intense close-quarter battle, ultimately pushing him back. On the other side, within the world government's sacred land, the five elders were discussing a legendary devil fruit that had remained unawakened for 800 years. They decided to give it a different name to conceal its true identity. Back on Onigashima Island, Chopper had returned to his normal form, and Aizo had successfully dealt with Kaido's subordinates, albeit heavily injured. In the meantime, two CP0 agents unexpectedly appeared. Yamato, rushing down to the basement to prevent the fire creature from reaching the explosives, transformed and froze the entire warehouse to stop the creature's advance. However, the creature spewed flames at Yamato, who continued to fend it off. In the intense battle between Kid, Law, and Big Mom, the latter questioned why Kaido hadn't yet defeated Luffy. She decided to head to the top of the castle to investigate, which infuriated Law. He immobilized Big Mom with his devil fruit powers, shocking her with his sword. Kid, too, unleashed his own devil fruit power, transforming into a gigantic robotic bull. The two attacked Big Mom, but she resisted fiercely. Despite their coordinated efforts, Big Mom was a formidable opponent, and she summoned 3 swords from her homies to create a colossal female monster to attack Kid. The sight terrified everyone. Law and Kid pressed on, but Big Mom showed her true strength by combining all 3 homies to create a colossal monster. She prepared to finish Kid when Law used his devil fruit powers to teleport the entire building, causing it to fall on top of Big Mom. Taking advantage of the situation, Law thrust his sword at Big Mom, piercing through the entire island and reaching the molten magma beneath the ground. Kid created a magnetic gun, firing it at Big Mom, but she resisted. However, Kid and Law delivered decisive blows that sent Big Mom tumbling down to the lower level. Yamato, who was dealing with the fire creature, witnessed Big Mom's defeat. Big Mom fell into a pile of explosives and exploded, officially ending her era on Onigashima Island. Kid and Law emerged victorious against one of the Yonko. Meanwhile, as Momonosuke struggled to pull the entire Onigashima Island, he heard the call of Zunisha. Yamato managed to push back the lava monster, and Momo informed her that Zunisha was approaching and was, in fact, a comrade of Joy Boy from 800 years ago. On another front, Aizo confronted CP0 agents, realizing that they were targeting the Straw Hat crew. Determined to stop them, Aizo launched an attack. Amid the ongoing fight, Aizo, who was dealing with the CP0 agents, got overwhelmed and knocked unconscious. However, he managed to take down one of the CP0 agents in the process. The remaining CP0 agent received a message from the world government's 5 elders, ordering the immediate termination of Straw Hat Luffy. This left the CP0 agent worried about interfering in Kaido's battle and potentially facing Kaido's wrath. Orochi, who regained consciousness, realized that he couldn't transform anymore due to being stabbed by a sea stone nail, revealing Hayori's true identity as Odin's daughter. Back in the midst of the intense battle, Luffy continued his onslaught of punches on Kaido, causing significant damage. Kaido, despite being intoxicated, managed to counterattack and transform into a dragon, launching a massive fireball attack. Although Luffy narrowly avoided it, he returned to attack Kaido, unleashing a massive attack. Kaido, not ready to admit defeat, struck Luffy with his club, sending him flying. Determined, Luffy sealed his mouth to prevent air from escaping and prepared his final, most potent attack. In response, Kaido also unleashed his full strength. As they clashed, a CP0 agent intervened, holding Luffy's hand, which reminded Kaido of a previous battle with Odin but couldn't stop him this time. Luffy took a devastating blow from Kaido, resulting in his collapse. As Luffy fell, his heart began to pound like a drum, and Kaido realized that Luffy could no longer stand. Kaido emerged victorious but was angry at the CP0 agent for interfering in the battle. Kaido created lightning bolts in the sky, transformed into a dragon, and flew down toward the castle, leaving everyone shocked and unaware of Luffy's whereabouts. Kaido declared to the people of Wano that Luffy was dead, causing distress among the Straw Hat crew and samurai. When Kaido was about to harm Nami, Marco intervened and protected her. Nami scolded Kaido for lying and making such claims. Kid and Law struggled to stand up and keep fighting after exhausting their strength. All the samurai felt desperate as they witnessed the apparent defeat of Luffy. Momo was terrified by the outcome of the battle, but Yamato refused to give up and continued to fight with determination. However, there was an unexpected turn of events. Luffy, who had remained motionless on top of the castle, began to transform. His hair turned white. Luffy regained consciousness, even though he didn't understand how he could still stand up despite appearing to have lost the battle. The fight was far from over. As the intense battle raged on, Luffy underwent a significant transformation. His hair and clothes turned white, signifying a change. Everyone, including Sanji, could sense an immense surge of strength coming from Luffy. It was clear that Luffy was still alive, and he continued to laugh heartily while looking at the moon. Meanwhile, the 5 elders of the world government realized that their efforts to prevent the awakening of Luffy's devil fruit power had been in vain. It was revealed that the Gomu Gomu no Mei devil fruit, which they had hidden for over 800 years, was not an ordinary paramecia-type devil fruit. Instead, it was a mythical zone-type devil fruit called the Hito Hito no Mei model, sun god Nika, granting its user incredible abilities. While Luffy was in awe of his new state and the power it granted him, Hiyori played a tune for Orochi as she prepared to enact her revenge. Realizing his impending doom, Orochi shamelessly begged for forgiveness, but Hiyori, after all the atrocities he had committed, couldn't find it in her heart to forgive him. Unexpectedly, Kinemon's fire-breathing monster, conjured by Kanjuro, appeared, signaling that the plan had failed. However, the uncontrollable creature ended up incinerating Orochi. Luffy, in his new form, Gear 5, felt like he could accomplish anything, even turning the ground into rubber. He unleashed his Conqueror's Haki, leaving Kaido bewildered by the overwhelming power. Luffy leaped around and laughed like a madman, continuously pummeling Kaido. He displayed remarkable strength, being able to lift Kaido and spin him around, leaving Kaido disoriented. Kaido realized that Luffy had awakened his devil fruit power. Luffy's abilities resembled those of both Paramecia and Zone-type devil fruits, which confused Kaido. Kaido was about to unleash a fire attack, but Luffy moved swiftly, using the rubber-like terrain to his advantage. Kaido lunged at Luffy and bit him, causing Luffy to inflate his muscles and attempt to escape. However, he ended up being swallowed by Kaido. Inside Kaido's mouth, Luffy continued to play and attack him, even inflating his body to turn Kaido into a round ball. Kaido couldn't understand why he felt like rubber. Luffy noticed a light ahead and pierced through Kaido's eyes to force him to release him. Luffy escaped from Kaido's mouth and had transformed into a giant, ready to kick Kaido to the ground. But Kaido, ever persistent, tried to bite Luffy again, leading to a comical scene where Luffy played jump rope with Kaido, ultimately prompting Kaido to shoot flames to break free. The battle between Luffy and Kaido was far from over, with both displaying incredible power and resolve. The battle between Luffy and Kaido reached its peak as both fighters pushed their limits. While Kaido had managed to strike Luffy's head and revert him to his normal size, Luffy remained determined and activated Gear 5 once more. This new transformation excited Kaido, but also made him increasingly furious. Luffy charged forward, delivering powerful punches to Kaido's head, leaving him baffled by Luffy's seemingly indestructible form. Kaido's attacks had no effect on Luffy, thanks to his rubber-like properties. As the battle raged on, Luffy kept up a relentless assault on Kaido, who was growing exhausted. Luffy coiled his body and delivered a continuous barrage of punches, wearing Kaido down. Despite seeing the massive fire below the castle, Luffy had faith in his comrade's ability to handle the situation, focusing entirely on defeating Kaido. Inside the castle, the Straw Hat Pirates and their allies faced peril. Chopper, Nami, Otama, Brook, Robin, Jinbe, Reizo, Sanji, Usopp, and Frankie all had their hands full dealing with the raging flames, but they continued to fight to save their comrades and the people of Wano. Yamato forced Momo to lift the entire island to prevent its descent, remembering her mother's trust in Momo and the 9 red scabbards when they traveled to the future. Momo's determination grew, and he decided to join the battle with a newfound resolve. Meanwhile, Luffy had soared into the sky, grasping bolts of lightning as his weapons to attack Kaido. Momo struggled to create flame clouds to slow the island's descent, but a sudden realization of his mother's trust in him filled him with determination. As Luffy and Kaido continued their fierce battle in the sky, Luffy's strength and resolve became more evident. He rebounded off Kaido's attacks using his rubber-like abilities and directed lightning strikes at Kaido. Kaido, recognizing the importance of haki, employed powerful attacks such as the Thunderclap 8 trigrams. The people of Wano, still unaware of the ongoing battle, released prayer lanterns into the sky, hoping for the best. Kaido believed he had defeated Luffy, but was astonished when Luffy reappeared, grabbing Kaido and attempting to pull him down. Luffy's determination and strength reached new heights as he witnessed the hopes and prayers of everyone below. He expressed his unwavering belief in Momo and declared their joint effort to save Wano. Kaido, determined to face Luffy in a full-scale showdown, released his full power, transforming into a true fire dragon and enveloping his body in flames. Luffy unleashed his massive fist, and it struck Kaido directly, causing Onigashima Island to tremble. As Luffy's attack unfolded, the samurai placed all their hopes in him. Kikunojo recalled the day when Oden had sacrificed himself to save the 9 red scabbards. Kaido and Orochi's tyranny had cast a dark shadow over all of Wano, and despite the samurai rising up together, they couldn't withstand Kaido's overwhelming power. This had led to the entire kingdom of Wano being engulfed in flames, and the people living in despair, struggling with harsh labor, and facing a lack of food and clean water. Even the devil fruits that Orochi had distributed were defective, robbing the people of their true emotions. Hiyori, who had witnessed all this suffering, was determined to seek revenge on Orochi. As Orochi released his devil fruit power to attack Hiyori, Denjiro appeared just in time and officially ended Orochi's dictatorship. Momo, inspired by Luffy's determination and the prayer lanterns of the people of Wano, knew that his parents were still watching over him. This newfound strength helped him regain his spirit, determined to rescue everyone. The samurai prayed for Luffy's victory as he launched his final attack against Kaido. During the battle, Kaido had a moment of reflection on his past. He remembered that from a young age, he had possessed immense strength, even capable of destroying an entire kingdom and becoming the mightiest warrior of the Vodka Kingdom at the age of just 10. However, due to the uncontrollable nature of his strength, he was captured and handed over to the Navy by the king, becoming the government's hunting dog. Kaido realized that he had been used by the king to secure a seat at the Reverie Conference. Kaido confessed to Luffy that he wanted to build a world ruled by violence because he believed he was the strongest. He shot a fireball that sent Luffy flying back, continuing to taunt him, saying that no matter how hard Luffy tried, he couldn't change the world. It was revealed that when Kaido was captured by the Navy, he managed to escape and intentionally let himself be recaptured whenever he got hungry and thirsty. Whitebeard took notice of Kaido's strength when he was just 15 and recruited him into his pirate crew. Kaido eventually joined the Rocks Pirates, a pirate crew composed of some of the world's strongest individuals. However, the crew was defeated by Garp not long after Kaido joined their ranks. Big Mom, who was furious and seeking Kaido to collect her debt, faced Kaido's decision to split from the Rocks Pirates and form his own pirate crew, a place where he could pursue his goal of dominating the world through war and violence. While Big Mom was still seeking Kaido, Luffy remained determined to win the battle. Luffy increased the power of his punch, pushing Kaido back. Kaido remembered a conversation he had with King in which he claimed to know who Joy Boy was. The final CP0 agent was fleeing Wano to report back to the Five Elders. Momo cheered for Luffy, believing in his victory. Inspired by the prayer lanterns of the people of Wano, Momo was determined to create the flame clouds to save everyone. Yamato realized that the island was falling even faster, and all the people in the capital would be in danger if they didn't act quickly. As Kaido continued to boast about his strength and asked Luffy about the kind of world he wanted to create, Luffy's punch grew even larger. Luffy, remembering the determination of all his friends, declared that he wanted to create a world where all his friends could eat their fill. His increased strength blew away Kaido's flames, and he delivered a final powerful punch straight to Kaido's face, sending him crashing to the ground. As Luffy stood victorious, all the prayer lanterns flew towards him, fulfilling the prayers of everyone. Kaido, on the other hand, remembered a conversation where he had mentioned that Joy Boy was the man who could defeat him. Momo successfully pulled Onigashima Island to a safe landing place. That's it from this video. Remember, for a chance to win that Amazon gift card, please like, subscribe, and comment down below the word subscribe.